Howdy, my name's Cooter Pickleberry. This is Florida Man Cooking, and today we're going to make a steak better than anything you get in a restaurant. I'm tired of going to a restaurant paying huge amounts of money for something they stuck under a broiler for a couple minutes. It doesn't have any flavor to it. It's not even barked up real well. This is good stuff. Stick with us. We'll show you how to do it. Thanks for joining us. All right, so the first step to having a good steak is to buy a good piece of meat. If you look at this, is a bone-in ribeye. It's darn near a roast. You cut it so thick. That's got to be close to 2 inches thick. See all this intermuscular fat? That's where you're getting the flavor from. A little bit from the stuff on the outside too, but it's all this veiny stuff, this marbly stuff. That's what makes it really good. We got that big piece of meat. I got a piece of parchment paper on a sheet pan with a rack on it, and we're gonna put some salt on it. The salt thing, you want to get it. It's a big piece of meat. It needs a lot of salt. If you're going to cook this right away, salt it, then cook it immediately. If you're going to wait more than about 5 minutes, it's going to get wet. And we want a nice brown sear on this. The way you get the nice brown sear is let that salt soak in. So if you got a couple hours, this is great. There's a lot of different ways to cook a steak. This is just one of them. It's one I've been doing more often lately because I'm getting too lazy to go out and fire the grill up. But of course, always take something over wood. That's delicious. Sous vide's an amazing way to go if you got a little bit more time. But this works pretty good too. A little bit messy, a little bit violent. Good stuff. All right, so it's on the sheet pan, salt. That's it. It goes in the fridge now. It's going to sit there for a minimum of 2 hours. That'll dry that surface out real nice. And the dry surface is what gives you the beautiful, beautiful sear on it. If you don't do that, it's going to get steamed underneath it. It's not going to sear as well. You want that nice mahogany colored crust. It's delicious if you cook it that way. This is a really easy cook. We'll be back in a couple hours to throw it on the stove. Well, all right, it's been in the fridge for a few hours. I took it out about 20-30 minutes ago to kind of warm up a little bit towards room temperature. It's not going to be all the way to room temperature, but it's going to be a little bit closer. Now we're going to pad dry it, although I think it's pretty dry. And then we're going to heat up the pan and start. It's a good looking piece of meat. I don't know if you can really call it a steak though. I feel like it's dang near a rib roast. Just a little bit of moisture on there, not much. Salt's all been soaked in. See just a little bit of moisture where the grates were. So it's kind of important to keep this on a rack if you really want it to dry out. Otherwise the bottom, there's no place for the moisture to escape really. So put it on a rack like that, you'll get a little bit of pan drippings on that parchment paper, not a whole lot. So you basically got 3 types of pans you can use for this. You use cast iron, carbon steel, or stainless steel. I got stainless steel because I own it and it's easier to clean than the cast irons I own, so that's why I use this for steaks. Just going to heat this up bare naked for a little bit and then we'll throw some oil in it. So I'm using some avocado oil. You can use grapeseed or any other high smoke oil. You can use beef tallow if you want it. This just works really good. Mo better. All right, now we're just going to lay that steak down. Always lay it away from you. That way if splatterback happens like it did right there, it goes the other way. So I'm going to get yelled at and have to clean that up, but at least I didn't burn myself. Move it around a little bit so it doesn't stick. It's going to stick a little bit just for a minute, even with the oil in it. Man, that's a beautiful chunk of meat. Put a little weight on here to press down to make sure I get a nice even sear. Now, if you notice, I flipped that over, there's a little gray spot there that didn't get much sear on it yet. It's okay, we're building this thing. So we're going to just kind of play with that a little bit, keep covering it up, keep flipping it back and forth. We're going to baste it in butter, get the edges, going to kind of render some of that fat off the edges. Plus the fat just tastes so much better after it's cooked hard like that. I think it's going to be beautiful when it's done. It just isn't there yet, but that's why we're cooking. This isn't takeout. I was talking earlier about the violence of cooking this stuff. I'm just talking about that hot grease and butter. kicking back on your sleeves. Wouldn't be a bad idea to roll those sleeves down, or maybe get a longer set of tongs. These are my steak tongs. You know, I like them and everything. They're nice. They're very controllable, but man, it gets hot. Okay, so looking at this thing, it looks like it's pretty much that beautiful mahogany color I wanted on both sides. It looks like the outside sear is done, but it's a big thick cut of meat, so it needs some internal cooking. We're going to turn the heat way down. We're going to take the meat off for a minute. So that's going to go on a plate just for a little bit. And then we're going to throw in about a half a stick of butter, maybe a little bit more. Used unsalted butter because I know how much salt's in it, and I kind of like having some control over that. Just going to melt that until it gets good and frothy. See how it's bubbling up there? Once that gets good and bubbled up, we'll throw the meat back in. In just a little bit, we'll throw some herbs in, we get a little bit more butter there. Really looking for that froth, and it wasn't quite enough, so threw one more pat of butter in, maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon or so. You can see how it's frothing up nice now. Also, I have to clean the backsplash because I just slopped it all over. Throw that steak back in. Gosh, that looks pretty. Got some scallions. A little bit of thyme, a little bit of rosemary. That's going to infuse that oil and that butter that's mixed up in there, and it just tastes, it's just unbelievable. It's one of the best steaks you'll ever get. This is actually pretty comparable to cooking on a grill. I just love this stuff, man. I love smoke from a grill too, but the additional flavors you can add here, pretty amazing. And then just to keep it cooking on the top and the bottom, we're going to go ahead and baste it. So we're just going to take that liquid, and got a big tablespoon-ish size thing, and we're just going to keep flopping it on top. Cooking on both sides now. Burning my hand. Probably do need a big set of tongs, maybe a glove. I'm not sure which. Not that smart. Well, it's looking pretty good. Took the temps right where I wanted, about 120, 125. All right, so it's rested for about 5 minutes, so it should be ready to cut now. Let's take a look at it. Big old piece of meat, man. Looks a little bit more well done than I like, but it's still pretty good. Outstanding. You know, actually, because it's been sitting there for a minute, I'm gonna go ahead and put it underneath. Well, there you go. It's a little bit of compound butter on a massive ribeye, probably too big. Well, I heard it cook when they're that thick. You know, about 1.5 inches is probably ideal. 2 inches kind of pushing it. This is like 2 1/4, 2 1/2 is a big old chunk of meat, but man, it's good. I hope you try this. Let me know what you think. I'd sure like a like and subscribe when you get a chance. That'd be great. I'm trying to grow this channel and it ain't working. So stick with us, man. We'll make some better stuff. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. God bless.